So we were sitting there last week, and my producer Chris Cruz, he's sitting there with this book on the desk over there, and I walked over, and it was the Babylon Bee Guide to Wokeness, and I picked it up, and I said, I'm buying it today. So I jumped right on, immediately purchased it, got it in overnight, the whole thing. I'm devouring it.
Oh, great.
And it's
I'm
so
glad.
funny because you guys, like, I love the fact that you just go at this woke mob culture, right? I wrote a book that came out a few weeks ago called Am I Crazy? You know, I'm an unapologetic patriot that takes on the insanity of today's woke world. I've got a chapter in there about what if God was woke? And we died, and we see the stairway to heaven, and it's lined with, you know, rainbow flags, and you know, God is identified as there and purse and hears and all these different things. And my mother read it, and she called me on the phone. She said, I don't understand this God chapter. How much do you guys, when people come back at your satire, how many people just don't get it and don't understand it?
Yeah, well, it's funny because we do get a lot of kind of befuddled reactions from the left, because a lot of what we do that, you know, we consider satire is just a straight retelling of what a lot of these people believe.
Yeah.
So, you know, in the Babylon Bee Guide to Wokeness, what was funny about it, and as you read through it, there are a lot of silly pictures and diagrams and things that make it really fun to read. But we didn't have to exaggerate wokeness that much for it to be really funny. So we do get a lot of reactions, I think, from the left, kind of, you know, I don't get what the joke is. This is just what I believe, you know. So there is a bit of those, like the two worlds thing going on, where shared laughter can be hard these days.
Yeah, I shared a tweet that got huge reactions over the weekend about if the NFL were slave owners, then why would you know, Colin Kaepernick be trying out to be, you know, a slave? And you guys had done a meme on that, and it's true. I mean, it's the silliness of it is so realistic, right? It's the world we're living in, and it's unfortunate that it's that way. You know, I look at over the weekend they had Dr. Fauci was given Big Bird. I mean, because let's face it, I need those two puppets to tell me,
Yeah, because you know,
how to be healthy.
All those preschoolers following Big Bird on Twitter, they need a good role model in their life.
And watching CNN. And then, of course, you have the new Microsoft stuff where they come out and they talk about what lands they're on and what people own to those lands and what they're wearing.
Man.
And so it's crazy.
Yeah, that's what makes our stuff so hard. I mean, that Microsoft video could have been a Babylon Bee sketch. Yeah. I mean, they just beat us to it. And satire can be hard these days because reality is insane by itself. You don't need to really exaggerate it much.
And so you guys, you do humor with a point, obviously, and that's the kind of humor I love. What do you hope people take away, really, from reading this Babylon Bee Guide to Wokeness? I mean, what do you hope that people garner from read and glean from reading the book?
Yeah, well, we hope it works on two levels. You know, first of all, we want to entertain and make people laugh, and we hope we accomplish that. But we did do research into kind of the whole woke movement and woke worldview, because it is like a comprehensive worldview way of looking at reality. We read peer-reviewed scholars in critical theory. We wanted to try to kind of be informed into what we were lampooning. So if you do actually take the time and read through it cover to cover, we hope you'll be finding yourself informed about what wokeness is, kind of where it traces its roots, and then at the end, just kind of standing back and laughing at it, because it is worthy of laughter.
You know, I'm a big proponent of people knowing who they are, and if you know who you are, you know where you're going, and if you know where you're going and you get there, you leave something behind. You know, identity, destiny, legacy. But these days, people don't know who they are, and so they're creating senses of persecution and oppression, and they're making stuff up, quite honestly, in order to maintain victimhood. You guys actually have a guide. It's an oppression identifier in here. So you can, for your disability, you take like the first letter of your first name, gender, the third letter of your middle name. And it's amazing, you know. So like the disability, underdeveloped, anxious, bipedal, one-legged, huge gummed, balding. And then for gender, I mean, this is classic, dude. I mean, you know, I love lists, right? So the gender, you got cisgender, bisexual, bipolar, pansexual, trans-Siberian, and on it goes. I mean, you go A through Z, you got all of this stuff. and then Race Creed, and then you got the bonus stuff, with 9 kids on a boat currently on fire with honey glaze from space. Genius, dude. I mean, how much time? I mean, just hire me. Just forget all of this. I told you before we went on, my contract's up with the Blaze. Just hire me, Joel. I'm going to work for the Bee, man. I mean, bottom line, I love this stuff, you guys. How do y'all sit around and come up with this?
Well, my advantage is kind of being on East Coast time. I can kind of wake up with the news while the LA guys are still, snoring over there.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of get a sense for what people are talking about. What's the news cycle going to look like? And then we just start riffing. So it's, me, Kyle Mann, the editor in chief, and then we have, 6 or 7 part-time writers that we're all kind of in a shared Slack channel. And we'll just start riffing. We'll just start pitching jokes to each other. And I always say that, the key to writing a good joke is to write a whole lot of bad jokes. So, for every one headline that we're publishing, there might be 50, 60, 70 headlines that end up in the trash at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so a lot of riffing, a lot of laughing, I mean, my job is full of laughter. It's great.
Yeah, dude, I love it, man. And I appreciate what you guys do. I'm encouraging everybody, if you're not following Babylon Bee, follow them everywhere. And of course, visit their website, devour their content. You will be enlightened by doing so.